Money Day, guys and girls. If you're locked in right now, you're learning with Vel. Now, welcome back to another episode of Life Behind the Trades. Now, you may be thinking, if you're new to the channel, what are these episodes about? I can see this one is titled episode 13. What is this about? 13. Well, Life Behind Trades is really about giving you guys an understanding of it's giving you guys an understanding of what it's really like to be a trader. Okay, my daily thoughts, maybe my daily interactions, or it could just be even my daily journal regarding my trades. Okay, this could just be a journal of my career, of my day. Now, to you lot, to those of you who are looking to make money out of these calls, or make money out of these videos, I should say, you're looking at this the wrong way. Okay, these videos are designed to give you guys the energy and to give you guys the know-how as well as the knowledge, which you guys could sidestep and say information that's going to help you avoid making the mistakes that I made in the game. Because a lot of traders in today's day and age will not tell you how much money they've lost. A lot of traders will probably lie and make it seem like they haven't lost much. And a lot of traders won't really be transparent with you, right? They won't jump on a call and trade live. They won't show you their MT4, the MT5 accounts, which, you know, in this day and age, if someone asked me to see my bank balance, I'd tell them no, you know? So if someone asked to see my trading account, it'd also be like, whoa. But I'd show them, you know? But it's quite weird that you would feel comfortable showing someone your trading account balance when it's just as important as your bank balance, if you ask me, you know? So yeah, what I really want to do for you guys is connect with those who actually can appreciate, you know, the longer form style content. For all my old heads out there, you know, for all my 30 plus members, you know, we're getting on, and we appreciate to hear someone break things down and go over things in detail. So I thought today would be kind of a wake-up call to kind of show you guys, if you're not where you want to be in life right now, that's A-okay. But in order to get where you need to go, you need to change. A change is required in order for you to obtain the goals that you desire. In order for you to be the person that you want to be, change needs to happen. You need to undergo a massive surgery. Just like myself, I had to strip myself bare. I used to wear tracksuits on a daily basis. Growing up in Southwest London, I grew up in a neighborhood that it was okay, but there was a lot of bad stuff happening, right? I'm not going to say I grew up in, you know, Iraq or Afghanistan, for example. So I have to count my blessings and say, alhamdulillah, I didn't grow up in a neighborhood where people was dying every single day right in front of me. No, I didn't grow up in that type of neighborhood. I grew up in a neighborhood where your ass would get robbed, that's for sure. And, you know, maybe bad things would happen to a lot of people, but I kept myself out of trouble. So I didn't really get into those type of problems, right? I, of course, got into problems. I, of course, got into trouble. Every guy, I guess, every guy who's a boisterous person naturally gets themselves somehow into trouble. Okay, but my point, why I'm explaining to you guys, is so you lot can understand a bit more about myself beneath the trades. Hence the reason, or hence the title, Life Behind Trades. Okay, growing up, I always wanted to play football, and I played football from when I was 7 years of age. So from when I was 7 right up to, let's say, 19 and a half, 19 and a half to 20, I used to play football, and I was really passionate about football. A lot of people would call me Thierry Henry in his prime. That was me. I used to love football, and I loved Arsenal. My dad and my mum are Chelsea fans, and actually, growing up, my mum and my dad, they thought, you know, I'd be a Chelsea boy, and pretty much one of my cousins showed me one time Thierry Henry in a newspaper. He's like, you look like someone. I was like, who? He's like, Thierry. And he showed me this picture. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do. I never forget it. It was a picture in black and white. It was in a newspaper. And from that day, I just supported Arsenal. And I'm a twin. So naturally, when my mum would walk me and my brother down the road, she said she would need to hold me in her right hand because I was always the one trying to kick cans in the street. And she just took me to football to kind of release some type of steam, and I ended up loving football, and football became a huge part of my life. Now, unfortunately, I got to a certain stage in my football career where, you know, I played at a decent level. I had trials with clubs such as Nottingham Forest, for example, and, you know, when I really analyze my career, I can sit down now and be honest with myself and say I didn't do enough. At the time, I thought I was doing enough, but by being exposed to a high level of football or high level of competition, when you're in that type of environment, you can usually see players who are naturally talented and players who have to work really hard. I was a player who had to work really hard. I don't think I was naturally talented. I think I was good. I think I was a good defender, but I don't think I was naturally Ronaldinho, you know? And I think now it's a lot easier for me to process and be real. But when you're young, you don't see yourself as not being good enough. You see yourself as having what it takes, you know? And one thing that I realized growing up playing football was I was predominantly a left-footed player, right? And I never really liked using my right foot. Only until I lived away from home when I was playing football, living on a campus in Southampton, I started practicing with my right foot. I started dribbling the ball with my right foot. I started taking on, going through cones and stuff. I literally locked myself in a hall for the whole day and I just put cones out on the floor and I was only using my right foot. Now, by the end of that day, I had a lot of control of my right foot, more control than I'd ever had in my whole career. And it really made me realize if I'd done this 7, 8 years ago, because at this point I was probably 18, right? If I'd done this 10 years ago, 9 years ago, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, then I'd probably be I'd be in a different position, you know? I used to have quite a temperament when I was younger, and actually, I had scouts come to me from Man United before at a cup final who wanted to scout me, but in the cup final I got sent off. I don't know, I think I told the ref to F off. I got sent off and I just blew my lid. You know, I blew my lid and that was that. And they came up to me after the game like, look, you kind of got what it takes, mate, but you got an attitude. Like, I guess now being an adult, I can understand them showing me like, yo, mate, you've got something, but if you can't control your anger and your emotions, you're not really going to get far. And I guess at that moment in time, they also didn't see enough quality, I guess, in me to say, it's either they didn't see enough quality in me to say we can mold his behavior, or they saw my behavior as so wild that they thought, this is a bad egg, would rather not. There's so much more other boys out there, would rather not go for this one, you know? And that's a choice, that's a decision that I had to live with in my life. I also, as I got older, I was unfortunate to go into a car crash. A lady cut me up on the side of a road she cut me up on the motorway. I was going to Brighton with my friends. This lady swerved into my lane. She slammed on the brakes. So I whipped the car to the left, whipped the car to the right. The tires locked, the car spinning around. It was something out of Final Destination. You know when they say your life flashes before your eyes? Well, with my life flashing before my eyes, no one was screaming in the car. Everyone was just silent, man. And, you know, it was actually really scary because at that moment, I just thought there's so much more that I was to accomplish in life, which I hadn't done. And I was not in control of the situation. The car was spinning around on the motorway, right? On the A roads going towards Brighton. This was one summer. I don't want to say thousands, but there's hundreds of cars, of course, driving up and down the motorway, right? And there was cars as I'm spinning around, cars are swerving past, swerving through, and I'm thinking something's going to hit us. And the car felt like it was on ice. It was a hot day, the roads are dry, but the car felt like it was moving on ice. And I've got to shout out to my friend Shaq, man. Big shout out to Shaq. Inside. If it weren't for Shaq, I probably would have been dead. You know, Shaq told me minutes before the crash, bro, there's feds over there, put your seatbelt on. And if I did not put my seatbelt on, I promise you I would have went through my windscreen window. I promise you that. So I understand that, you know, in life you've got choices, decisions to make, and you've also got, you know, experiences that can either make or break you. And when my football career died, because from that accident there, I ended up getting trapped fluids in my kneecaps. I couldn't, I was at that moment in time, I was on loan to Oxford. So I was driving up to Oxford, all the way up to Oxford, you know, 3 times a week, which just wasn't sustainable now that I had an injury and my car's been written off. So I ended up really just becoming a has-been, celebrating my friends' success, going out, partying. It took a long time for me to recover, but I had to find something else. And why I'm saying this to you guys, because you might think, why are you telling us your story? Well, I'm telling you my story because I never saw myself Forex trading. I never woke up and was like, I want to be a Forex trader. I don't know who does, right? My dad doesn't work in finance. My mum didn't work in finance. But in actual fact, as I, was finishing my short, useless career in football, you could say, I became an adult. And in that time, that transition, that's the time when, you grow up in your house as a child, you don't got to pay no rent, everything's cool. But you get to a certain age, it's like, yo, you need a job. You need to make some money. And when it got to that point in my life, I started to see my mum struggle. My mum, she had a lot of properties back then, which in the UK you had squatters' rights, and through having squatters' rights, it actually led to some of her properties, the tenants not wanting to pay. So she ended up getting in trouble. This was now, again, being an adult, it means that over a longer amount of time, I can understand why her properties, why she got into trouble, because, she had tenants who refused to pay, and I guess depending on how much the mortgage repayments were, and there's so much variables as to how it can hurt your pockets. But if someone's doing this for 2-3 months and it's across 3 or 4 different properties you have, I guess you could end up, kind of high and dry. And long story short, why I'm saying all of this is because I remember my mum saying that she invested money into a bond, and 10 years later, when it matured, which was around about the ages of me being 20 or something, she basically made 5%. 5% over 10 years. Now, I didn't know much, about bonds, and I didn't know anything about that type of stuff, but I knew money, right? When I was 14, in school, I sold my phone to start my own clothing brand. I had a clothing brand called Peak Times. It used to have, on the hats, it used to say Peak, and on the t-shirts it used to say Peak Times with an alarm clock, and it done really well. I had my clothes up in stores all across London, right? So it was, alhamdulillah, it was good. But what I'm saying is I understood the value of money, and I understood how money multiplies, and I thought, so you had all this money inside one place and they only gave you that over this amount of years. And it was in that moment that I realized that I needed to know more about finance. I needed to understand more so that I could help my mom. And that still didn't take me down the road of trading Forex, but it made me want to get more into understanding how money works, because my biggest fascination in life was that everyone does things to make money, but no one knows how money works. No one knows how money works, but everyone is doing things to make money. They're working multiple jobs, they're working overtime, but no one don't know how money works. So, I got into sales. I watched the film. My life was I was kind of lost post-injury. I was kind of lost, I'm not going to lie. Started smoking weed, started doing so much things that just wasn't me, but my environment kind of, what's the word? I became a creature to my environments, and basically pushing past me, because I enjoyed doing the things I was doing, but a lot of the things I was doing weren't right to do. What I kind of realized in life was I needed to put myself in a position where I became uncomfortable doing things I hadn't done before. And I watched Wolf of Wall Street, right? And when I watched that film, the penny just dropped like a light bulb, and I just thought, I can do that. And from there, I became a junior stockbroker. I actually got scammed when I first came into Forex, which was another story in itself. But essentially, I put myself in a position where I had to go and buy a suit, and I had to go down to central London, go to this office, get an interview, and these are all things that was just new to me. Those times I was still smoking weed, so my brain wasn't even sharp. I couldn't even pronounce certain words properly because I was a bit too slow. So I started to realize I had to kind of ease off of that type of stuff. But why I'm telling you this story is because even when I pushed myself into the unknown, into the unfamiliar environment, working in Canary Wharf, going up to the city and stuff, I done it because I wanted to try something different. I knew I could be good at it, but I also done it because I understood that if I don't change, nothing will change for me. I had to change. I had to make a change in my environment. I had to make a change with the people I was around. If I didn't make a change, then nothing would change for me. And I didn't want to be someone who was, 30, 35 or in their 40s, regretting life, saying I should have done this, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I didn't want to be that type of guy. So I had to make a change. And I'm saying this because you might know someone who needs to make a change, but they're scared to make a change. You might know someone who's recently made a change and you're happy, you're proud of them for that. You might know someone that for the past however long has been needing to just get up and do something different, but they don't want to do it. They're a creature of their circumstance, of their environment. Well, I'm living proof to tell you guys that if you don't change, nothing will change for you. Nothing will change for you. And this is really important because you could be trying to lose weight. You could be trying to get a new job. Like, there's so much things you could be trying to do. So we don't just have to relate this to trading. But what I'm trying to say to you who's watching this video right now is that if you don't change, nothing is going to change for you. You can't just change for one day, for 1 minute, for a couple of weeks. It has to be a proper change. I used to have on my board, right? When I lived at home with my mum when I was younger, I had a note. It's not even me really, it was my mum. Got a big up mummy, She had because I was a bad kid, right? She had a note, same way it says learn with Vel. It wasn't that big, but before I lived in my room was in a loft conversion, so I had to go down the stairs to come out my room, right? And just before I went down the stairs, she had a note right on the side that said, if I change, everything will change for me. And I used to see it all the time, so it subconsciously got embedded into my brain. And I tell you this, guys, I now live in the United Arab Emirates. I never, ever would have thought I could have lived here. Never in a million years. That's a huge achievement for someone who didn't even want to leave his area. It's a huge achievement for someone who thought they was going to be a professional footballer. It's a huge achievement for someone who thought that their life was going this way, but ended up going that way, and I still made that way as exciting as what this way would have been. That's what I'm trying to say to you here, because I changed my mindset. Everything else around me became more easily accessible in terms of me obtaining things that actually was for me, or obtaining things that I wanted. Okay, and that's why I told you guys in the previous episodes about books to read, self-help books that can help you. Forget all of that shit. Today I'm not talking about no books. Today I'm telling you this: if you don't change what you're doing, you're never gonna get a different result. If you're always blowing your account because you keep trading on your phone, stop fucking trading on your phone. Only trade on your computer. Put yourself in an environment where you understand that if you do change, things will be different. Put yourself in that mind frame where you have changed, and now that you've changed, things are different. And when someone's asking you whilst the things have changed, they're asking you, Mr. John Doe, what was the secret? You're gonna tell them, because I changed, everything else changed for me. I changed my mindset. I changed myself. And that is what changed. That's what, look at the success system of Cristiano Ronaldo, of any successful person. It requires them to change and be someone. They have to evolve into someone in order for them to get to the end goal. Ronaldo, Beckham, these guys changed their mindset. They was in the gym. They was on the football pitch every day practicing their kicks. They changed their mindset because they wanted more for themselves. It's the same thing about singers. Singers will probably practice singing. They change their mindset to put themselves in a mode of trying to better themselves so that they can get to the end goal of being better. That's what I'm trying to say to you here. And look, man, I can talk till I'm blue in the face, but I can tell you this. I thought I was going to be a footballer. Didn't work out for me. I thought I was going to be some salesman guy. Wasn't really for me, okay? And in that same process is when I was fortunate enough to be paid wages in Bitcoin, and I made quite a lot of money in Bitcoin, which said to me, hey, if I've made this money in this asset, why don't I figure out what makes money actually tick? What's the more traditional aspect? What's the more traditional asset? What's the more traditional lane? Because crypto was new at this point, right? This was several years ago. And that's when I came across Forex. I mean, I already got scammed in Forex, but that's another episode, okay? But this is when I came across the real deal, and I said, okay, let me learn this. Since then, guys, I never looked back. Yes, I've had to get part-time jobs along the way because I had to pay the bills. But I'm telling you now, Trading is my only source of income. No matter if I'm making the same amount of money as someone makes in Tesco's, or if I'm making the same amount of money as a footballer, doesn't really matter. What matters to me is the freedom, the fact that I can wake up when I want, I can go to sleep when I want. Look at the time right now, guys. The time of me doing this video is 4:31 a.m. and I'm making a video. I'm going to go to bed after these videos, and I'm going to wake up probably around about 11 a.m., right? Because, well, the New York trading session doesn't start until 5 p.m. Dubai time. So really and truly, the morning I've got for myself. And why I'm saying this to you is because I need you to understand, if I didn't change my environment, my circumstances, the people I was around, the people I was trying to, if I didn't change the business people that I was trying to be around, if I didn't change my mindset, forget about external things. If I didn't change my mind frame internally, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's testimony for me to be here and tell you these type of things, because I'm not a preacher. I'm not a fucking preacher, man. I don't do all that shit. But I'm telling you this for free, and I'm trying to keep it real. And I'm telling you this because I understand that there are guys who, growing up in London, want to be a footballer, doesn't work out. You want to be a rapper, doesn't work out. You want to you want to be a singer, doesn't work out. You want to be a model, doesn't work out. When I was young, I had fucking a lady from Vogue magazine come up to me and ask me, do I want to fucking cut my hair low? And you know what the funniest thing is? I said, how low? She showed me a picture of Diddy. She said, Diddy low, right? This is so funny because I said, no, that's gay, right? The same way my hair is low now, because I used to have plaits when I was younger and an afro. The same way my hair is low now is the same way the lady was asking me if I wanted to cut my hair. And I said, no, don't want to do that. I want to be a footballer. Yeah, I was about 8 or 9 years old, okay? And I was with my sister. Long story short, she's like, little boy, where's your parents? Because you're just talking too much. She found my sister. My sister asked me, Cav, do you want to do it? I said, nah, man, I'm going to be a footballer. And I missed out on a very valuable opportunity my mum likes to remind me of quite often, at the fact that Vogue magazine wanted to hire me to be a model boy or whatever. And I turned them down because I thought that it just wasn't really for me. Why I'm saying this to you guys is because you have to understand that opportunities will pass you by on a daily basis. And if you're not in the right frame of mind to accept the opportunity, you're going to squander it. So take it from me. It's better to be ready for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be ready. It is better to be ready for an opportunity and not have one than to have one and not be ready, guys. Based off of that, we're going to end the episode. I'm going to get down and give myself 50 press-ups because I'm feeling good about myself. I'm feeling pumped. I'm feeling charged. Guys. This is the 27th of January, 2025, and we're still alive. We're able to watch this video right now. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, I want you to comment 2025, I'm grateful to be alive. Let's exercise some gratitude, because that's what this is really about. My story might be interesting. My story might be boring. Doesn't matter. It's my story. You also have a story. And that is the reason why you owe it to yourself to become the better version of you. And if I can help you guys get 1% better a day, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So yes, guys, we're done here. Appreciate you guys for checking in. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Money day.